Hello, this is Forrest, and in this video, I want to talk about how do we start to cultivate sexual desire. I am a body sex facilitator. I, work one-on-one with women and people with vulvas, and I also lead body sex retreats. All right, so we're gonna discuss how do we start to cultivate desire. Um, we have this like cultural overlay that is like we see this in movies, we see it's just like in the air that we breathe that we should be like coming to our masturbation practice or coming to our partner sex experiences, and we should be turned on and we should be ready and we should be blah, 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 should. That is sometimes happens. It's not like that never happens, especially if you're young, like you're not in your mid to late 40s, like some of us are. Uh, that happens in new relationships. That happens, depending on our hormone levels in our lives. Like that is a thing that happens for many of us. And then there's all the other times, right? In my conversations with people around this topic, there's this idea that there's something wrong with me if I go into a sexual encounter and I'm not feeling it. So, what I want to pose today is that we can start, this is like the beginning, right? We can start to cultivate our desire. So, let's talk about um, just some like physiological things. So, first of all, those of us with vulvas take 15 to 20 minutes to reach arousal. I'm going to repeat that. People with vulvas, our anatomy takes 15 to 20 minutes to reach arousal. That means that we need, this is sometimes called foreplay. Uh, I'm I'm in mostly queer and gay relationships, and so the whole idea of foreplay is kind of in the heterosexual straight world. And foreplay to like get you ready, like it's not like it's not right, but it's sort of dismissed as, oh, well, that's not actually sex. I want to challenge that and push back against that a little bit. So we start cultivating desire by knowing first that we're going to need to do that for 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to need to touch ourselves. We have to put our hands between our legs and we're going to have to touch ourselves and start to get the blood flowing. So that's one aspect. That's actually like the main topic of this whole video. That's the big main aspect. The other thing is that um, desire and cultivating that desire fire within us, we are moving energy in our bodies. So I don't want to go too much into like a tantric or a Taoistic, like a Qigong practice like that, because I feel like it gets really heady really quick and it can like pull us out of our connection with our actual physical body, which is like what we have to do. Again, you're putting your hand between your legs and you're touching yourself. So that's how we're starting to create the movement of energy in our bodies. That's what we want. I can't remember which video I said this in before, but a lot of us have our hands swatted away. Like little kids are experimentational, right? They experiment, they play with themselves. We happen to think of like little boys doing that. That's totally natural. And then we tell little girls and people with vulvas, oh, don't do that, right? And that's I'm making a big sweep there, and I understand that. But so that's kind of the cultural soup that we're in. And so if you had your hands swatted away from your vulva when you were naturally discovering and developing as a child, it could be that you're arriving into adulthood and your brain is not connecting with your actual physical body, your pleasure organ. So we're starting to build those connections. We're starting to make those connections. I want to take just a second, actually, because that's a pretty big thing that I just said. So if that's like, oh my God, like landing, I want to just let that land for us. Because that can be really big work right there, is just we go into our sexual encounters and we wonder why we're not aroused and why it's difficult to reach orgasm. And it's like, oh, well, because we've never built those neural pathways as a child because our hands were kept away and then we were shamed for touching ourselves. And that's really unfortunate. It's unfortunate and it's not, it's, it causes harm. Yeah. All right. So I was talking with a client and they were telling me that they could rush to an orgasm and hit an orgasm like quick, like in 5 minutes. And this is a person with a vulva. And then their desire was pretty much gone. And so what they started doing is not rushing at the orgasm, but starting to cultivate that desire. And it was like this huge aha for them that like they hadn't realized that they were comparing themselves, they were comparing their body with the body of someone with a penis. Like I'm saying all the time, it's all good. All of it's good. All of it's correct. All of it's natural. All of it's beautiful. It's just that they're different models. So if we're rushing at an orgasm, it could be creating this like, I'm just like seeing the energy like this. Like, we're just like diving at the orgasm, and then it kind of like blasts our nerves, and then we need to take a break. What we can try instead is to slowly cultivate that desire, give ourselves like 15 to 20 minutes of vulva massage, keep building that desire. We're taking orgasm off the table. Yeah. We're not going full speed ahead into an orgasm. You guys, I don't mean to interrupt this, but I have this little bug, this little stink bug who's like watching me record. It's the cutest thing, sitting right over here, like right there. It's so cute, right next to my microphone. Um, my little audience. Uh, okay. So when we put our hands between our legs and we touch ourselves, we start to learn what we like and how we like to be touched. So we can then Oh my God, we can then touch ourselves the way that we like to be touched. Amazing, right? But then when we're in partner sex situations, we can tell our partner what we like, how we like to be touched. All right, I'm checking my notes. Oh, I do want to say one thing, and I'm going to try to keep the bias out of my voice. Actually, maybe I won't try to do that. Maybe what I'm going to try to do is just speak really honestly. So, when I was having straight sex with people with penises, often I would say what I wanted. I would say, I like this. And they would do it for a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And then they would go back to doing whatever they thought they wanted to do, whatever they'd go too fast. They'd rush at my vagina. It was so frustrating. And it happened. I've had sex with a lot of people, y'all. And it happened over and over and over and over and over and over again. So if this is your experience, if you have a vulva and this is your experience, I don't know what to tell you. It turns out that I enjoy queer and gay sex much more than I enjoy straight sex. Um, I I lean heavily sapphic at this point in my life, so that's been part of my solution, which I think has a few different components in there. But also, if you're someone with a penis and you're watching this, this is really common. It's a really common experience that we are telling you how we want to be touched, what we want, and you're doing it for a second and then you stop doing it. And my invitation to you is stop it. Stop it. Don't do that anymore. Please. So, sometimes when we are having sex with people with penises, it's like there's this mismatch, right? Because our bodies are different. So there's this mismatch in what we both need slash want in order to be able to have a good time. So that could be what's happening, right? You are saying what you want and how you want to be touched, and that's not being heeded. Um, that's great information, right? If you're with somebody who doesn't touch you the way you want, why are you with them? Could be a discussion topic. Not that I'm telling you how to be in your relationships, but it's yeah, trying not to go too far off topic. All right. So the world outside our skin, so the world beyond your beautiful skin is beautiful. And there's a lot of things to be desired out there. And we, as sovereign, beautiful humans that we are, with our agency and our free will, we have the power to cultivate our desire. So our desire is not dependent out on anything out there. It's not, I mean, I just ranted about the mismatch of sexual partners, but it's not actually out there, it's here. So we have power and we have a say over what we are doing with our bodies and how we want to be touched. Often, similar to the example that I just shared, often we are steamrolling over experiences. We are steamrolling over our emotions, steamrolling over when the body says no. And it's our job to start to pull that back. So no, I'm sorry. It's our job to recognize that that's happening, to get back into integrity with ourselves, and to like go, oh my God, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry that I just steamrolled over that experience. I'm really sorry that I kept sleeping with that person that was not listening to me and what I wanted. So we're like reconciling that relationship with ourselves. And I'm not, in this particular instance, I'm not talking about assault and rape. That is, that's a violation, right? That's a violation of our bodies. It's a violation of our boundaries and our free will. And that is its own topic. Um, and if you are a rape survivor and an assault survivor, I am so sorry. That was wrong. That should not have happened to you. I am also a survivor of assault and rape, and it's wrong. Most of us with vulvas have survived at least assault. That's part of what it means to walk around in a rape culture, and it's not right. Full stop. So, not totally the scope of this um, video, but it also brings me up to my next point, which is when we start touching ourselves and cultivating desire, what can happen is we feel stuff. We we start to touch and our body keeps the score, as the saying goes, as the title of the book goes. Uh, the body knows. And so when we start to touch, what can happen is that stuff comes up. It can feel like a lot. It can feel like too much. And my invitation to you is to feel this is your body, right? This is your body, this is your desire that you're cultivating. My invitation to you is to imagine that you have a little valve and a control, like a toggle or something. Maybe you're just going to let in like 2 to 10% of those emotions, of that grief, of that anger, of that rage. Honey, I hear you. Your rage is justified. Your anger is justified. That grieving is part of being human. So luckily now there's actually like a lot of resources for grief and working with grief. Um, and yeah, there's grief rituals, there's classes about grief. It's like kind of in the zeitgeist right now, which is just fabulous and beautiful. And there are so many people doing really good grief work. But for this exercise, when we're starting to cultivate and build desire, what we want is we want the like yummy, good feelings, right? And then we go, well, shit, what's wrong with me if I'm not feeling good feelings? I just feel sad or like crying or like I have this longing within me. And what the hell, Forrest? I want to cultivate desire. I don't want to cultivate sadness. We're human. If we have pent up feelings and emotions, guess what? That's going to arise when we start cultivating our pleasurable sensations. That's us reconciling being in our bodies and reconciling the experiences that we've had. All right. Mm. So if we are the ones cultivating the desire, we're not relying on the outside world for giving us um, the feeling of spontaneous desire falling from the heavens, hitting us with, I must have this person or I must masturbate right now, then we are claiming our desire and our ability to cultivate it as ours. This is huge. This is huge for people with vulvas. And I would say, like, if we think about men and people with penises, like not doing that, like that's just what we think of with um the male model and people who have penises. We just go like, oh yeah, of course they would, you know, masturbate whenever they wanted. And somehow we, because of cultural shame and what have you, we don't apply that same thing to ourselves. But it does apply. It's ours. Our desire is ours, and we get to cultivate it. Okay. I already talked about how long it takes us to reach full arousal. All right. So I want to lead you through a little practice. You don't have to do this when the video is on. You can do this after, or you can follow along. You're going to get some oil, and you can keep your shirt on, but you're going to get some oil and you're going to start touching your vulva. Just touching. You can rub your hands up your vulva and you're just going to start touching. And then you're going to start exploring. And my invitation is to keep doing this for 15 to 20 minutes and just see what happens. Take orgasm off the table. The point of this is not to orgasm. Now, honey, if you have an orgasm, good on ya. I love it. Good job. Um, if you don't, that's great. That isn't the point of this experiment. We're just touching. We're just cultivating desire. We're letting ourselves be in the present moment with ourselves, and we are cultivating desire. We're also letting our brain, remember, we're letting our brain and our body connect via our beautiful hands. So, cultivating desire is the point. Following the pleasurable sensations is the point. And arousal are the point. So, I would love to know how this experiment goes. I would love for you to share in the comments. I would love if you gave me feedback about other topics in this realm that you would like me to make videos about, and if this has been helpful for you. Now, people with penises that are watching this, do not post troll comments in this video. I will delete them. You are welcome to follow along. You are welcome to try these out on your own. You're welcome to comment. Some of you have already commented on my videos, and you've been so delightful and so respectful, and I really appreciate it. For the trolls, your comments are getting deleted, and you're being very bad. All right. I am going to link my guided vulva massage recording in the description, and I'm going to link information on how you can work with me one-on-one, and also my website so that you can find out when my next Bodysex retreats are. I hope that you have enjoyed this talk, and I really look forward to hearing from you about this. All right. I hope that you experience all the pleasure and cultivate all the desire that you can even imagine possible. And I'll see you next time.